'tis the season, and you know you get Christmas stuff out, and things don't work. Bulbs, things like that. So this little house, bulb's not working. Tried the and nothing. So first I'm gonna take this apart. I'm gonna troubleshoot it, see if everything's good, and then if this doesn't work, I'm gonna swap this out to LED. Let's get into it. All right. First things first. Get the meter out. Again, if I had a cheap meter, I would just be using that, but I do not. This is the one I have, and I'm not gonna go buy one if I already have this thing. Okay, so first things first. A lot of these decorative things just have like a little tab. They have a hole in there, and they have this set up here where it just retains the light. You just squeeze that together and it goes out. It comes out, I should say. And it just has that. So when you go in, you just squeeze it and it locks. That space here should lock in there. Now if you squeeze it and you push it all the way in, it's fun getting back out. I know, because this one was that way before I got to this point. So this is the way it should be. Just pop it in a little bit. Done. Alright, now light bulb. Put this over here. So light bulb you can usually take out and look at, see if the filament's there or not. Filament in a light bulb, by the way, is, oh, it is going to be like next to impossible for you to see. I apologize. Shiny. Is what connects between these two metal prongs. And what happens is that filament, and again, I am not the technicalist person, so I know how it works, but terms might not be there. Anyway, there's a wire that goes, that wraps around itself, basically, loops across. Sometimes they're just straight, actually, too. But anyway, that wire is thin, and what happens is that wire has resistance, and as the voltage goes across it, it's such a small amount of wire that it lights up. How do I say that? It gets hot and causes light. This is an incandescent light bulb. That's how it works, ish. So there's a filament, really small. So as I don't know if you could see that, but it's like flying around in here. That's not good. So it's not connected, but I can see the light bulb's no good. And these little lights, you know, getting them nowadays, you can still get them obviously, but with LEDs, I'm just going to convert it over, because it's annoying to, you know, these things get bounced around when you put them away in boxes and stuff, and the filaments can just come off, or break or whatever. Just, you know, LEDs last for 10 years without doing anything. So that's what I'm going to probably do. But I'm going to go through this anyway. We're just going to, as you see in here, there's the side and the bottom. And on a bulb, I've shown this before, but on a bulb, this is insulated here. This black is insulated, but the bottom and the sides are what completes the circuit. So one side of this is connected to here, and the other side is going all the way down to this point. And again, the black piece there, it's isolating the two. So you're this close to connecting here, but the actual filament is what connects everything together. And again, really small piece of wire, so that there's resistance, which creates heat, which lights up. Yeah, things like that. Okay, so back to this. I'm going to put this on the bottom. This here, I got nothing. But I also have this switch here. Okay, so I click the switch. Now I'm going to Still nothing. Oh, you can't see. It's my big hands, but I got nothing. All right. Potentially two issues here. Okay. Buckus. All right. So not only do we have a bulb that looks like it's not really doing what it's supposed to do, we also have cord doing what it's not supposed to do. Let's go ahead and fix both of those issues at once. Alright, so I did want to test that just to see if it worked or not. Kind of knew what I was going to go with anyway, but garbage. Bag of miscellaneous LED things. I have LED bulb. I also have multiple ones of these. Alright, and the reason I have this out, this is my technical term. You plug it into the electrical outlet, AC, it comes out DC. This style allows you to adjust the DC coming out. Very easy way to see what happens with certain lights. There are LED lights are not all 12 volts, they're not all 6 volts, they're not all 3 volts, they're all over the place. So this allows me to adjust the voltage very easily to test and see what things look like. So I am just going to, and I have the alligator clips on because that makes it simple. Let's see what we got here. Oh, okay. So these work. Pretty good. That's at 9 volts. That's at 12 volts. Okay, so I have these lights that work. You can see how it dims. So LEDs, these LEDs, the strip, because they're all different, at 7.5 volts just has a little bit of light to it. Not a lot, just a little bit. Let me do this. So you see that's got a little bit of light to it. That's a 3, 6, 7.5 is what all these LEDs need to at least show a little bit of light. That's not giving out any, it's just basically enough to light the LED. And 9 volts is what's needed at least to light these up. You'll see why that's important. So I know that now. So I'll disconnect this one. I have the singular. This is just a singular light. That's 9 volts. That's 12 volts. Not a whole lot of difference, 7.5. So that's 3. So the singular bulb, because it's only one bulb, at 3 shows a little bit of light. See? Obviously the higher volume or the higher voltage you give it, the more it is. And that's something with LEDs. You know. Does it give it a ton of light? Yeah. No. It's only one bulb. So what a strip needs and what a bulb needs completely different, and you can give different voltages. So this one at 6 still gives off a decent light. Let's see what that looks like in here. Oh yeah. So that gives you that. That might be a winner. But we're still just testing a couple things here. So I have that. Go ahead and put that over there. Then I have different strips. I'm not going to go into all of that the strips. This is more about how do you easily convert if you have LEDs, or if you want to grab an LED light and replace incandescents, which I recommend. This is how you can figure that out. Now, you should be asking yourself, well, this thing converts to DC, which LEDs are, because they're DC voltage for all LEDs. There's not a 110 voltage LED. Even the light bulbs that screw into a socket that are LED light bulbs, they're not 110 or 120. They're not AC current. There's a driver, they call it a driver in there, that converts that AC voltage to DC. So if it's an LED, it's all DC voltage. All DC. So don't be plugging in this to 110. Not good. So now you're asking, how do we make this work? Well, I happen to save adapters like this. And this is effectively the same thing as an LED driver. It's different, but it does the same thing. It's converting AC to DC. Okay, and this one here tells you here the input is 120 volts, output 7.5 volts. DC. So AC to DC, this is just a converter from AC to DC, these adapters. So that's why they're bricks, or they're bulky. There's a circuitry in there that effectively converts AC to DC. Laptop chargers, all those kind of chargers. It's good to hang on to them sometimes. I'm a little bit of a pack rat, yes. However, I've used this multiple times to do this very thing, or something similar, where I needed DC and I didn't want to have something battery operated, whatever the case may be. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and unplugged, obviously, and cut this off, this end off, because you can have these with small ends, big ends, whatever the case may be. But I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and then you can just grab this, twist it, and then you can pull these apart, because there are actually two wires molded together, just with real thin plastic in between, basically. So that's what you can do to separate them, which is good. And then I'm going to go ahead and use this. So that's long. Just going to. This is a really cool little tool. Makes it easy. Okay. But you can use scissors if you're careful, or normal wire cutters. But that's for little wires. That thing's great. And this one's a little bit messed up, so let's just get some good wire here. Alright, so this is something I want to put together and just have it work. And not screw around with it, so it's good for years to come. So I am going to use this. Do we have any? Okay. And some of these actually will tell you. I'll show you. So this is just a crimper. Well, a connector that crimps. If you haven't seen these, there's plastic in there, and then there's just a metal tube that goes through that you crush, and that connects both sides. Some of them will tell you, oh, that one doesn't. Some of them will tell you what gauge wire. So this says 22 to 18, so 18 to 22 gauge wire, which is really thin stuff, which is what we're going to want here, as opposed to, say, that one. It's bigger. Now, here's the thing. Before I do this, I need to make sure I know which one's positive and which one's negative, because once I crimp these together, that's the way it's going to be. And like I mentioned earlier, LEDs only go a certain way. So we have a wire with a white, we have a wire that doesn't have a white. See? Doesn't work this way. So the white is most likely the positive. There we go. So just goes to show you, an LED, if you have it backwards, it's just not going to work. You're not going to hurt it, it just won't light up. So by doing this, I know that red, my red, has to go to the white. So I'm going to unplug this. Ah, that's hot. Why is that so hot? Right there is very hot. That's a resistor. Really hot. Wondering if it's because of that LED or that their thing. Wonder if that converter is just giving out way too much juice. That's hot. Let's see how hot. That is hot. I don't want that. I believe it's because this is one bulb and we're throwing 12 volts to it. I thought it was going to be 7.5 because that's what the converter says. It's not 7.5. That's concerning. Okay. Playing Z. No, not quite the Z. L. I'm going to unplug this. I'm going to go with this strip. This will be nice and easy because I can just shove it in there. And not have to worry about this if I don't want to. Alright, so I'm going to just click that, click that. It's a good thing I felt that. It's a little concerning. Okay, so that's definitely working. I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick. Interesting. So now when I do it, it says 10.94 volts. I know you can't see that, but that's what it's saying. But this one shouldn't get hot. I'm going to go ahead and leave that like that for a bit. Come back, make sure everything is good before I go ahead and put it in there. Be a nice lit up house. And I'll finish those connectors and be alright. But see, this is, you run into stuff. This should have been like a 2-minute deal. And it wasn't. So, anyway, be back, finish this up, go from there. Just roll it in there if I wanted to, like that. Or I can maybe do this. Loop it in. I like that idea. So, probably hard to see. Let me unplug it. Okay. So I'm using this clip that I cut off from before. And I just loop this around. So this will hold this. And put this here like that. Right now, let's just see what this looks like. Do that. All right. Lights up here. I'll turn the light off. So you can see. Okay. Not crazy. Let's see. What can you see? Really can't tell. Looks good. Just do this. Okay. I'm going to bend these out like that to make sure they don't go in. I'm just going to put all this stuff inside. Okay. All right. And then that works. So just with some stuff laying around, now I have this thing lit up. I'm gonna go plug it in the house, and it's good to use the things that you have. I have stuff laying around. I know you might not, but if you don't have this stuff laying around, LED strips are really easy to come by now, and you can just, some of them allow you to trim them. You could take just a piece of the LED strip, do the same thing. But just wanted to show real simple troubleshooting, but also, you know, using a few different things to come up with a system or a solution to the light in here. Not rocket science. Don't be afraid of it. Thanks for watching.